Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good whatever time it is when you're listening to this. Welcome to another episode of the Coffee with Coaches podcast. I'm your host, Kevin Stafford, and today I have with me Jim Getgey. Did I pronounce that right, Getgey?
Yes, you did. It is Getgey.
Yes. Jim is the founder of G2 Leadership Institute, which is designed to elevate aspiring leaders by utilizing their unique strengths and values for the betterment of themselves, their families, their organizations, and their communities. He spent 30 years prior in the corporate field of sports marketing and advertising with the Philadelphia Phillies, with the PGA TOUR, and with Hearst Corp. Jim, you are well accomplished. Welcome to the podcast. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Kevin. It's great to be with you.
Well, let's just jump right in and start at the start. What got you into coaching? What helped you realize you were a coach? And then maybe also as a follow-up, what prompted you to then start a coaching practice?
It all started in regards to, looking back at my career and what I had accomplished in running big teams. I felt that I've always had really good leadership skills in leading people. I'm not one of the best process people, people that build the process and all the strategies, and we do all that. Yet I was more of a leader at heart. And when I left the corporate world, I went down and got certified by John Maxwell, one of the leading leadership people I know. I mean, I stole one of his books from my dad's library back when I was a kid. He's been around for decades and one of the leading leadership gurus. So I went down and actually got certified as a leadership coach, trainer, and speaker, and wanted to just really verify what I thought in regards to what true leadership looked like. And so that was a great experience. And I started to work with an entrepreneur who did similar work, and I was going into the speaking track. I wanted to do more speaking and presenting. And long story short, COVID wiped out all of our business development. We couldn't host the leadership conferences we had built or do any of the new business things he wanted, and that sort of ended. Mm-hmm. And so when I took a step back, I basically looked at, okay, where's the big gap in leadership? And when I look at whether it's, if you look at the business world, the financial world, the education world, the environment, we've got some bad leaders that have put us in some bad spots for all of us.
Yeah.
And so I did a real deep dive into where that is. And I looked at it and said, we're not teaching young leaders how to lead early enough.
Yes.
And so G2 Leadership Institute is designed to, G2 stands for Generation 2. It's the next generation. I can't fix the environmental problems or some of the business problems, but I can go back and help some of the young leaders understand what their strengths and values are and how they can bring those to the forefront without a business saying, go down this lane, or a school saying, go down this lane. You're a sophomore, you can only do this. And in a very short period of time, I've run into young leaders. Recently, I ran into 4 people that are in college age that started a company called We're the Ripple. And they sell water bottles, right? No big deal. Except that their model isn't to sell water bottles, it's to cure the water problems in Africa. And so they built 8 wells in Africa so the kids don't have to walk 2 kilometers to get water every day.
Yeah.
And these are college age students, and they're solving a worldwide problem that governments can't solve over decades. So that's where I look at, there's absolutely an opportunity for young leaders really to step up, start leading earlier. And what they'll find is that they'll live a happier life. They'll do things that they love. They'll put people around them that support them and lift them up, and don't say, oh, well, you're too young to do that.
I could tell in your voice how passionate you are about this, because as soon as you started talking about them, the kids, right, quote unquote, which
I call them young leaders, because we call them kids, and to some degree we're putting them in that box that you're a kid. No, you're a young leader. You've got great strengths and values, and you need to use those and enhance those and go out and show the value that you have to the world.
I love that you just basically, you took a step back and you looked for, you asked yourself that question that all really good coaches do. Where can I help?
Right.
What can I do? I see that things have changed. The world has been smacked upside its head by a couple of different big swings. Right. Let me take a step back. Let me look. where can I help? Where can I make the most difference? And I love the passion and the consideration that you demonstrate there by choosing to move into this G2 Leadership Institute. I love this. Let's talk a little bit more about the bones of it. Like, I want to talk about how you engage with these young leaders. Do you have a lot of one-to-one coaching? Is it more presentations or courses? How do you coach them?
So originally, the design was to do individual coaching and then build it out into some group coaching. It's really challenging because in the transition into and out of college, I look at it as two major transitions in life. The third one's when you get a baby and they put it in the back seat and they say, okay, go home. And you're like, oh, dear goodness. I mean, but those two transitions into and out of college, we send young leaders into them with the concept of they'll figure it out. And so they go into college and they've got a college track. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's fine. But the problem is they don't know their strengths and values. So they look around and they finagle it to some degree. And parents don't see the need to have them trained or coached unless it's for SAT prep, ACT prep. They'll spend a fortune on that to get them into the school. And the key is I want them to thrive right when they walk into that college campus, because in college, there's so much opportunity. Your network just expanded by tens of thousands. And yet as a freshman, I look back, I didn't use my network until I was a senior looking for a job. Yeah. And then it can work, but it doesn't work as well. So into college, you've got that transition. And then, all the kids coming out of college, that parents are just excited that they've got a job, someone's paying the bill, they're off the dole, so on and so forth. And that's one of the biggest transitions where you absolutely need a coach or a trainer to be on your side to help you navigate the boss, the supervisor, the job, so that you can actually excel, as opposed to here's the yellow pages, go sell something. Or, you know what, we're going to give you training to make you better, and it's going to be about negotiating. Well, if that's not one of my top strengths, I don't care how much training you give me, I'm going to get better at it, but I'm never going to be excellent at it. Yet if you looked at me and said, oh, you're an includer, how can we grow our market share? I'll thrive in that area. So get someone else to negotiate the deal. Let me be the includer, because that's where my strength lies. Yeah. And so I think that's the whole point of what we're trying to accomplish, is really, really put the onus on the student that you own the path. Don't let the school tell you that you have to do certain things, or your boss to say you have to do certain things. You've got to grow yourself throughout the whole timeline. Yeah. And it's hard because that's a new concept. We give any CEO who gets the new role of CEO, they get a coach. Anyone who, becomes the salesperson, now you're the manager because you're a great salesperson, they'll get a little bit of training. I mean, companies will spend a lot of money to train them to be a good manager. And my point is, they should be a good manager and a good leader already. If they know their strengths and values and they're utilizing those, that's what makes them so powerful.
I love the way two words that you use describing these young leaders' journeys, the word track and the word path. And I gravitated towards that because track, there's a lot of value in a track. You're locked in. A lot of the momentum is taken care of for you, which can help eliminate a lot of the confusing paradox of choice that you might encounter as you're stepping into this big new world. But that track keeps you on track. You can't really, if a train jumps off the track, that's an accident. That's a tragedy. And I like the term path as well, because the path, you have many different ways that you can go, some more well-worn than others, but you can find the one that best suits you. And I just love that approach. Yeah. It's a little bit more, I don't want to say it's harder. It's just different from what we're used to think about equipping our young leaders with the ability to navigate all the different paths that are maybe before them and identifying the ones that they're going to be good at navigating and equipping them for those paths. And I see a lot of value in the track concept, and I think that serves a good purpose in the right ways, in the right places at the right times. But teaching young leaders how to follow their paths, that's powerful.
Well, and Kevin, you make a great point, because in higher education, there are certain tracks. For example, I've got a young daughter who is on the engineering track, and it's set in stone. She's got an idea what she wants to do, but it's utilizing her strengths and her values, and they've already done all that. Nice. You can be a lawyer, you can be a doctor, and there's certain tracks. I came from a liberal arts background. from higher education, which is sort of all encompassing. Yeah. And, 75, 80% of those students can go do anything because they've got a well-rounded background with an open path. Mm-hmm. And the key is they look and I'm just amazed looking back at what I went through and a lot of my colleagues and where we ended up today. Yet I'm amazed at how many juniors in college you can talk to and say, so what are you thinking, 2 years from now? And you get well, I'm really not sure. I'm thinking about this. I might do that. And I'm like, okay, well, tell me where you want to be. What do you want? Mm-hmm. And when they, and it's really interesting because some will know, well, I would really like to be here. I'm like, great. Okay. What steps are you taking to get there? Again, you can coach a young person and they know what they should be doing, what they can do. Sometimes they don't realize that there's some easy ways to reach out to others and again, build a better support network other than just your school and your family. Because again, if you're on an engineering track, you could probably talk to any engineer in the country and say, hey, I'm an engineering student at the University of Nebraska, University of Michigan. I'd really like to have 15 minutes of your time. Would you give it to me? Or again, if somebody called you, Kevin, and said, hey, Kevin, I've seen your podcast. You do such a great job. I'm really interested in podcasting. Would you spend 15 minutes with me? If a college student called you, you'd be like all day long.
Yep.
Right?
100%.
They don't, and they look at you and say, oh, I couldn't call him. Absolutely could. He would love to help you. We all want to help him.
Yeah. I'm getting like the contagious passion from all of this. I feel like I could like pick your brain and like set you off, let you talk all day, right. But I know you have a heart out. So I want to make sure before you go, that we share with the audience where you like to be found. Do you have a preferred social media where you're pretty active, where it's good to have a conversation with you? Do you have a website you'd like to direct people to?
Thank you. We're still in startup phase. So we do have a website, G2 Leadership. And you can find us there. And, I do have a Facebook account. I don't use it as often as I should. I'm actually building a YouTube channel that will have a concept called Mentor Circle, where it's exactly what this is, where I talk to business leaders. And it's not about how they got where they are. It's the vision they had and the stumbles they had to get over to help young leaders understand, like you said, there's a path, there's a track. It is not a straight line to the CEO table or to the head engineer or to whatever it is you want to do. It's going to go like this. And those stories of, I talked to a lead anchor at an NBC affiliate about how, she wasn't planning to be an anchor, yet how she learned that was exactly where she needed to be. Or, I talked to someone who went to Harvard and wrote a book. And never would have been an author in my mind. I mean, I knew the person and I said, I can't believe you're an author. And they were like, it wasn't in the plan, but it's what I wanted. So, again, you shouldn't have, I'm amazed sometimes when I look at people, I said, God, you went to Harvard Business School. That's, amazing. But it wasn't an easy road. He tells the story of, I almost didn't get in. I almost didn't apply. Those are great lessons for young people to understand. You've got dreams, you've got visions, you're going to plan to do something, and the hurdles you're going to have to get over. The one thing I love is if you ever want to watch a great video, watch Steve Harvey called Jump. He tells a story about everybody's got to jump. Yeah. But you can find me at G2 Leadership.
Yes.
We do have a website, and on that website's my phone number, my email. I mean, again, I'm open to. You want to text me, it's a lot easier for young people to text than it is most other things. I do have an Instagram account that it's more personal than it is business wise. And at some point, I look at TikTok and the growth of that, where I'll put some lessons on TikTok at some point. But, again, I'm trying to go slow and build things the right way. So we'll start with a website and some blogs and do some things like that. And then I do training out in the community. So I've got a program called the Limitless Student that I've taken out into the community. And basically I get corporations to fund it so that the students can just show up. Awesome. And I'll post those on Evite and some things like that. So you'll see more of that in the very near future.
Perfect. Well, yeah, if anybody wants to find you, look, check the website, find you by name, text you, find you on you're building up to be on all the socials. And I'm really excited about that YouTube channel. But yeah, I'm sure links to all of these different places will be on, is it g2leadership.com?
Yep, it is.
All right, I should get you out of here. I would love to keep you for longer, but I want to be respectful of your time.
Kevin, you know what? I'll return the favor when I'm doing a podcast on how to be, a podcast mentor. I'll get you on the other side of the coin, and we'll do another one. That would be fun.
I'd be more than happy to. Although I might just ask you questions and let you talk, because I love what you're doing. I love what you're all about. I love the approach. I love the passion. Thank you for what you're doing, and thank you for being here today.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Good luck with all your stuff, and we'll talk soon.
All right. Talk to y'all soon.
Bye.